submarine, unfortunately, is gone.
You know you're at Universal as you start hearing that music, like you're walking up to the lighthouse, you're about to go into port of entry.
You also have the Lost Explorers Hall, and of course all the meetings month after month are getting canceled because they're lost. Obviously they're not real shows, but in the lore that's where they would hang out and, you know, watch the shows, sing and dance. One could argue that there's nothing more important to a theme park's success with inviting in and attracting guests than its entrance. I'm the one arguing that. Except maybe marketing. But this is kind of like marketing just in person when you're already here, I guess. Magic Kingdom has the iconic castle focal point. USF and USH have the historically significant studio arches. And Islands of Adventure, well, it has something rather unique. You see, when you're at Universal City Walk, you can go left to Islands of Adventure or right to USF. A lot of the foot traffic to these parks comes from individuals who are just walking around enjoying dinner and shopping, and they see this. They see Port of Entry. They see the USF arches. And Port of Entry is what many guests simply pass through to get to Hogsmeade or Marvel Superhero Island. But today we're going to spend the entire day right here. Well, not in the designated smoking area. I don't smoke. But here in Port of Entry. We're going to discuss all the hidden secrets, all the Easter eggs, and we're going to talk about why Port of Entry at Universal's Islands of Adventure is the most detailed, what I believe to be the most detailed theme park entrance in the entire world. The sheer amount of detail in Port of Entry to this day amazes me. There is so many things that I still haven't found. I mean, you barely spend time there. You're there on your way in, you're there on your way out. Guest services, sure, but other than that, you don't spend a whole lot of time there, and there is so much detail. So as you enter the island, you're just instantly hit with all this detail and lore. Of course, you have the lighthouse in front of Islands of Adventure, and that's there to really call the different adventurers to the island. The story of Port of Entry is that this is the place where all the explorers from around the world gather from all different backgrounds. And Port of Entry is kind of where, you know, they have their hotel where they'll be staying. That's where they have storage. There's so much detail just from the storage lockers. Port Provisions is where they're actually going to get their food, their drink. There's all different details about, you know, the island commissioner is James Nagy, and he's actually someone who helped with the Lowe's hotel partnership that still exists to this day and has helped open Islands of Adventure and City Walk and make it what it is today. There's also a sign called Codiga Adventures in Port of Entry, and that actually references David Codiga, who is or was an EVP with Universal Creative and helped to open up Islands of Adventure and design Port of Entry, which is, I think, a super awesome detail that, again, a lot of people just don't know about. You also have the Lost Explorers Hall, and of course all the meetings month after month are getting canceled because they're lost. But if they ever want to get unlost but they're still lost and they belong to the Lost Explorers Guild, the hall for them is here in Port of Entry. There's all sorts of different animals. There's cats, there's monkeys, there's birds, there's lizards. You can hear them as you're walking around. On a busy day like today, it's a Saturday, it's a little bit harder to hear. But on a more quieter day, you can really hear all the detail. I think one of my favorite details is the painting on the wall in front of one of the souvenir tents, where it basically talks about the world of dance and all this interpretive dance and different forms of shows that you can go see. Obviously, they're not real shows, but in the lore, that's where they would hang out and, you know, watch the shows, sing and dance. And it talks about, you know, Merlin's Mambo to the Stegosaurus Stomp, which obviously is referencing Merlinwood and Jurassic Park. You know, when you're actually up at the entrance gate, you can see all the symbols for all the different lands on the entrance gate to Port of Entry, and it kind of prepares you for what kind of islands you're going to, because each land in Islands of Adventure is, of course, an island. That's the whole point of it. The guest services is called the Open Arms Hotel, so that's the place lore-wise where the adventurers would stay, right across from the storage lockers where they would leave their wares, where it says they have great rates daily, but even better rates yearly. So if you want to leave your things in the locker for over a year, they're going to make some mint off of you. Talking about the Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto, they have a photograph area where it's called De Fotos, and I love the quote on the wall where it says the camera is mightier than the sword. I agree wholeheartedly. If you're going to rent a wheelchair or a scooter, if you look at the price list, you can see all sorts of different things like a rocket car, snowshoes, a submersible, which used to be back here, but it's gone now. Submarine, unfortunately, is gone. It's no longer here. There's a little shout, it might be original, but I think it's a little shout to Back to the Future with the time machine where it says currently stuck in the 6th century, and apparently it has been since opening day in 1999. The Waterworks Authority are where the restrooms are. Right next to that you have the fire department, which says that they have moved to be closer to water because the water is all the way out here, whereas Port of Entry is way back there. Nestled next to the market, there is actually a fun detail that most people miss because it's not really in front of a shop, it's not really in front of a restaurant, and you can actually see there's an escapee from the prison system here. And you can see the keys that are hanging there. You can see all the sheets tied together where the prisoner escaped. It even left a little message that says "See ya," which I think is hilarious. I look at it every time. There is a monastery that's supposed to be up on the hill right next to the souvenir shop. And you can actually hear the monks inside chanting and singing every once in a while if you look. And the way that the model is built is so it looks like, kind of like Hogwarts, it looks like it's much further away than it actually is. And it's just another one of those great details that Port of Entry has that no other theme park entryway has ever been able to replicate. You also have the Lucky Monkey and the jewelry shop. The Lucky Monkey is a casino. You can see the dice rolling around in the sign. You can also hear people gambling inside, losing most of the time, and all sorts of different little details and signs as well. Of course, we haven't even began to touch on everything inside. So inside the souvenir shop, there's all sorts of details. There's this massive skeleton. Inside Confisco, there's all sorts of pirated wares from all around the world and all around the islands here. And really, I don't want to show you because I want you guys to come and check it out for yourself and explore it for yourself. Find the lovebirds. I'm not going to tell you where those are, but those are kind of hidden near one of the details that we've talked about. There are so many small little details that it's amazing. I could spend all day here, and I have so far. And I think another super cool detail is they have that awesome decorated mailbox in front of Islands of Adventure. That mailbox actually works, and you can actually mail a pre-stamped postcard or a letter from Universal. If you actually look behind me, right over here, that is the dock where they used to do skipper tours. So you used to actually be able, similar to Epcot, take a boat from Port of Entry all the way over to Jurassic Park and Lost Continent, so you can go across the water. They call them skipper tours. Now that's something that they have not done in many, many years, and I wish they would bring it back. I think the demand would just be too much. So there you have it. Those are all the little...
As I was making this video, I started to realize that I'm kind of a weirdo for this Port of Entry to be my favorite land in all of Universal, but there must be somebody just as weird as me, right? There has to be somebody out there that feels the same way. So I just had to go out and find them, and honestly, it didn't take very long at all.
Tyler, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. What is your favorite detail about Port of Entry?
The music, right? As soon as you walk in, you're at Universal. As you start hearing that music, like you're walking up to the lighthouse, you're about to go into Port of Entry, and it's just like, it's that cute. I'm kind of strange sometimes, and I'll sit at home and just have the Port of Entry music playing while I'm editing or whatever. The music, it seals it 100%.
I think Tyler's right. The music as you're walking into Port of Entry is just so iconic, and it's been around since opening day in 1999. And hearing it now, it's exactly what it is. It's your cue that you are about to embark on this adventure, for lack of a better term, as you're going into Islands of Adventure. It's a very different feeling compared to over at Universal Studios Florida or Hollywood or any of the other parks. This is just very calm, welcoming, and familiar. Those are most of the little hidden details and Easter eggs and all the lore behind Port of Entry, where you have the marketplace, you have the island proprietor, you have the prison system, dancing hall, the lockers, the storage, so many cool details. And I hope you learned something new, and I hope next time you guys come to Islands of Adventure, you can actually go and check it out, point those things out for yourself. There's so many details that I probably haven't even found yet, and I probably won't find. So if you guys know any other hidden details that I may have missed, let me know in the comments below. Hit me up on Instagram. I challenge you to go find those lovebirds. Those lovebirds are one of my favorite details. Go and find them, send me a picture. Now, while Port of Entry is heavily focused on the sea, just remember that you can also go up in the sky, and we actually went to space recently. So if you want to see if Space 220 is still worth the money for the experience in 2025, go ahead and click on this video right over here. And if you want to see a video that YouTube recommends specifically for you, you can go and click on this video right here. Remember, the adventure lives on. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Yeah. Falling into love hurts just as much as falling out of it, but I'll scrape my knees and scar my sins. I hope you never doubted that I'm down for you. Wanna hit the town, make it loud, be a clown.